Congressman Scalise, it's either the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. Now, Obama and Biden couldn't beat the caliphate. Trump did because he took off the rules of engagement and let the military do their job. They were critical the whole time, but it was successful. I would assume that this strike last night was the right thing to do. I don't know the background yet. One day we'll probably know.
Yeah, Sean, and good to be with you. I agree that in the end, let's see where the facts are on this strike. But it was the right thing to do to send a message to Iran, who backs terrorism all the time around the world. President Trump led with peace through strength. It was a doctrine that actually worked to stand up for America and our allies again. But the whole time he was doing that, you had Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Jen Psaki, all the ones you mentioned, who were critical of that, questioning whether it was erratic or the legal authority. They were wrong then. Hopefully they're right now, but it's this double standard. You see the hypocrisy. Maybe the first 100 days of Joe Biden are defined by nothing but hypocrisy, whether it's shutting down schools when the science says to open schools, they sideline the scientists when they said they'd follow the science. You know, having John Kerry fly around the world on a private jet telling American energy workers that they have to go install solar panels. I think people are sick and tired of the hypocrisy, but it's on full display. Hopefully they're right here. Hopefully he keeps a peace through strength mantra, but he also needs to recognize Iran is not our friend. Don't go back to dealing with Iran and giving them the pathway to a nuclear weapon. President Trump took the right steps by backing away from that deal. Let's not lose ground.
And Dan, the movement towards pressuring South Korea to give the Iranians money on top of that tells me, what, did they think bribing the mullahs in Iran will make them be nice to us? Because their $150 billion in cash and other currency didn't particularly buy us any goodwill and didn't stop their nuclear program.
No, policies of appeasement do not work. Look, I like killing terrorists. And I liked it when Obama killed bin Laden. I liked it when Trump killed Baghdadi and Soleimani. And I like Biden killing these Kataib Hezbollah guys that were just killing our people last week. I like all that. I also like consistency. And I think what people are upset about is just the lack of standards, because, you know, they have no standards except for double standards. Criticizing Trump, you know, while applauding Obama. Telling us that we were going to engage in World War III just last year when Trump made the decision to kill Soleimani. It was a good decision. Peace through strength actually works. Look, it does not mean that we're engaging in endless wars. I think we should look at AUMFs and maybe modernize those. I don't think Americans want 100,000 troops on the ground. But we do have to recognize that sometimes we do have to retaliate and we do have to show strength against Iranian mullahs, as you're saying. I think that's exactly right.
Here's my question, though. Do you fear, as I do, that if our enemies, are they assessing Joe Biden as a leader that they are fearful of? Because I actually think, in an interesting way, Steve Scalise, that Donald Trump's, well, being unpredictable, probably, you know, they couldn't figure him out, which I think is a good thing.
You're exactly right. And look, every president is tested at some point, and usually it's early in their presidency. I think when Donald Trump made it very clear, number one, that, yeah, you weren't sure where he was going to go, but a lot of our allies were worried he was going to pull out of NATO. What he did, he strengthened NATO by making sure our allies put up their own fair share. But he also sent a message to the Middle East and the rest of the world when he put the United States Embassy in Jerusalem. And they were predicting, you knew that, they predicted there was going to be violence and there was going to be all kind of wars in the Middle East. What did we get? We got peace agreements, Abraham Accords in the Middle East, because people recognize Donald Trump's a man of his word. He's going to follow through. He believes in peace through strength, but he rebuilt our military, and it worked. There will be a test, no doubt, like every president, that Joe Biden gets. I hope he stands up for America and our allies around the world when that day comes.
Dan, you get the last word.
Look, I think that's absolutely right. President Trump had a pretty good foreign policy. You know, he had like small quibbles and disagreement, mostly just how much troops he would reduce at a time. But for the most part, Trump took a pretty aggressive stance, and I'm not even sure his supporters even recognize that to a large extent. And that stance helped us a lot. We regained our deterrence against Iran, and that moment happened when we killed Soleimani. That was a really big change, and I hope that the Biden administration continues down that path. Frankly, the strike last night is a sign that they're at least learning some things from the last administration. It's a good sign, and I hope they maintain that path and do not pay off the Iranian mullahs, do not re-engage in this disastrous Iran deal without a much better deal at hand.
All right. Thank you both. Dan, appreciate it. Steve Scalise, good to see you both.